Welcome back to another video, folks, and it is an exciting day today. Reason why we have the TriField TF2 EMF meter right here in front of us. It also does RF, and we're going to show you all the features with it. Came in a cool little case. We're going to show that to you, little instruction manual in box. Let's get that out of the way for right now. Definitely give that a read over because it will give you instructions for power lines, the safe limits, and so definitely give that a read over. Now, it's a really nice case as well. Keep your meter in great condition. Another little instruction pamphlet right there as well for just the battery, etc. Now, I've been playing with this for over 2 weeks now, and it has really done a fantastic job. Reason why, little strap to hold that in. Love the case, so you can take that to other people's houses, which I have. I've actually taken this over to my parents' house, and we have tested their Amazon Echo Show 5, which was very surprising because of notifications. Stay tuned, watch the whole video through. Again, top link in the description box below will be this exact same meter by TriField, where you guys can read more about it and pick it up yourself. There's going to be a lot of things that you obviously knew of, but a lot of things that will definitely surprise you. So as we can see here, we have our dial, we have off, we have mag, standard, electric, we have weighted, mag, electric, and RF all the way over on the right hand side. So again, read your instruction manual, but what you want to do is anything with like a motor, anything electric in your house, power supplies, red light therapy. I'm going to show you that in just a second. I actually was using my red light device right down here too close to me, even with the benefits of red light. That was putting off too much EMF in the distance that I was actually using it. Also, we're going to get to this little air purifier as well. That was very shocking as well with another air purifier from Costco at my parents' house, which actually was shockingly awesome. So first and foremost, the reason I really wanted to get my hands on this is because about 25 feet away right there, if you can see it, that is a smart meter. I'm pretty sure it's a smart meter because I've never seen a guy come into my property before and check it. And there also, let me zoom in over here. There also is one of those transformers right up there. And that literally from my headboard right here, that is probably 30 feet maybe, ballpark, something like that. So that definitely concerned me as well. I have the same thing. I have another meter over by my shop as well with another transformer. I think it's called a transformer. And actually this transformer powers my neighbor's property as well as mine with the smart meter right there. Now, praise the Lord, that smart meter is not on the back side of my headboard. That would be very disconcerting, and we'll go ahead and just show this to you real quickly here. Now, you do want to use, like for power lines, you might have to click it over to weighted mag. But as you can see here now, it's 2.0 or under is the safe limit. And as you can see here, I'm toggling between 0.2 and 0, pointing it right up there through the window. Every once in a while, you might get like a slight little bump up. But again, anything 2.0 and below for standard mag is the safe limit. So I've already tested it with the window open. Let's go ahead and just click it over to weighted mag, and weighted mag needs to be 5.0 or under for weighted mag for a safe zone. As you can see right here, that is well below, almost nothing. Praise the Lord. So let's go ahead and open up this window here and we'll get you a shot straight at it right here. 0.2 weighted mag, pointed right at it. Now, the smart meter will be going off of RF, and my testing has showed nothing, but I will try to get that on camera because I know smart meters sometimes send off a strong signal once every 60 seconds. But again, that was pretty concerning, but that transformer metal cage box, I'm going to call it, cylinder is really holding that all in. And I think I'm in the proper distance. I think the previous owners knew about this and said, listen, we don't want that too close to the house. So that is absolutely fantastic. So let me go ahead and click it back over. Every once in a while, you might just get some random spike, but let's go ahead and look at this. So we're back on standard mag right now. And this is what you really want to do. So you want to come in here where your pillow is, and you want to go ahead and start testing around, especially with outlets behind your bed. And if there's any shoddy electricity that is behind your headboard, because obviously this is where you spend most of your day besides like your office sleeping. So I'm going to show you my folks' Amazon Echo Show 5. This is the same thing. This does receive Wi-Fi, but again, we need to click it over to RF, but I'm just showing you mag. There's like barely anything. same thing, like point zero one, you know, etc., something like that. Let me go ahead and just raise that up. Again, sometimes it might be, yeah. So nothing there. So we've clicked it over to RF. I'm pointing it right at my Echo Show 5, which does receive a little bit of Wi-Fi notifications. You want to try to toggle all those off. I'll show you an example on my parents in just a little bit in the video. But again, a healthy, safe RF is going to be right here, 0.200, 0.200 or under. And so see right there, that was 40 above the safe zone. And now we have like nothing, even though my Amazon Alexa device is receiving some notifications. Let's go ahead and watch it, because just off camera, I actually got a pretty good spike of RF. That might have been, hopefully that wasn't the, yeah, see, there we go right there. Hopefully that wasn't the smart meter, but again, this will, especially if Amazon Alexa device is trying to get your notifications, try to pair it to Wi-Fi, it will be very, very high. I am getting notifications right now. It's staying low, but again, just a little while ago, I'm going to stay with you here, see if we can catch it on camera. Hopefully that was not the smart meter outside, because it did spike to like 5, 700, 800, and that's 0.56, 800. Which I caught on my folks' Amazon Echo Show. And that's an easy fix for that. You either you get rid of it, or you toggle off all your notifications. See right there. Okay, what was that? That was big right there. So that was something like 1.6. That came in super fast and then stopped. That could have been all these notifications catching up to the device and then they go through it. Let me go ahead and test this real quickly here. I'm going to use the trigger word, but I'll edit it out. And let's see if it does spike when, how do you spell Mississippi?
Mississippi is spelled M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I.
That round of Wi-Fi was not bad at all. So I don't know. I'm going to stay with the camera here. I'll edit this, of course. But as we come back around to the minute mark in just a little bit, I'm going to see if that big spike happens around the same time. If it does, it could be the smart meter, but that's pretty far away. Boost it that far up. Okay, it didn't happen again, which is very good, which means that it's not the smart meter, because those go about every 60 seconds or so. I think what it was my Echo device. See right here, let's see what happens. Okay, so there's like a slight little push, and I think what's happening is it's like getting its new information, and then it will cycle through it. So, okay, there we go right there. Huge one once again, still going, still going, still going, still going, and yeah, okay, good to know. So a fresh new notification came on there for some sort of hockey thing. So you need to remove all those notification settings so it's not coming into your Amazon Echo Show, meaning that it's like just new downloads. It happens very fast, but still, if that's going on all day, all night, we don't like that. See, like all this like new stuff, right? This is all new stuff that's been put into the Amazon. So I'm going to toggle all that off. I'm going to show you how to do it later in this video with my parents, but that's really, really good to know. So those are very surprising things. That jumped to 3 point something or other, 1 point something or other. That's way higher with RF than you want, especially this close. Now, if you're super worried about it, then you just ditch it all together and you get yourself an old school alarm clock. Only reason I like the Amazon Echo Show 5 as an alarm clock is when I'm right over here sleeping in bed, I wake up and I never set an alarm besides, going to church on Sundays. And I roll over and I say the trigger word, what time is it? And then she tells me what time is it. And it's absolutely fantastic. Instead of like disturbing my pup who sleeps right here, because sometimes when I roll over, my pup thinks it's time to get up if I'm trying to like cock my head over here and look at the time. So that's an absolute blessed benefit of using it. But if it's going to be putting off, and I'll toggle all that off, but if it's still going to be putting off something, then I'll get rid of it altogether. And make sure that your Bluetooth is not connected in your settings for your Amazon Alexa device. Alrighty, great news. So again, I'm going to show you how to do it on my folks's, but I had a bunch of notifications, which I didn't think I even had on my Amazon Echo 5. I toggled all those off. And then there's some that are still like, remaining that will, be off, but, some like random, like, considerations for purchasing or whatever. I toggled everything off, even notifications of packages being delivered. I can see that, or I can just ask her that, and then she'll tell me if it's delivered or not, instead of like having that like, yellow bar down below or whatever. Toggle off all your communication. And for the past like 4 minutes now, I am literally sitting way below the safe zone. Again, 0.200 is the safe zone, and I'm 0.01411, 115. That's absolutely incredible. Even with my cell phone getting closer to that, it's still, okay, we had a little spike right there. Actually, that's kind of random. Okay, we're getting another one after, that's interesting. So yeah, for some oddball reason, well, maybe it was my cell phone getting close to it, but it shouldn't have been. But that was random. That was after about 5 minutes. We had one big spike. Maybe it was getting rid of the notifications. I'm not exactly sure. I'll be putting that further to the test, but that was pretty random after about 5 minutes. Let me see if I can do that again with the cell phone getting close and then pulling back just randomly, see if anything spikes or not. That might have been updating the settings. Yeah, so now it's just my clock. There's no other notifications. So that might have been the final push of getting rid of and those settings to take in effect. I will be putting that a little bit more to the test because that was a huge spike and I definitely don't want that, especially when I am sleeping. So that was one of the products I was very surprised at. Yeah, see, now I'm just going through like photos that were already there and the time. We're looking good. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. And if you are curious, 0.008 for whoever sleeps here, 0.009, 007, 0110. There was a little spike to 100, which is still really safe, going that direction, pointing it at there. So coming over here, 0.008, 0, there's a little spike right there of 0.100, but in the safe zone for some oddball reason. 178, 177, 100. These are all the safe zones, which is really good. So again, it's really nice to be able to, now I'm back on standard mag and just exactly like where your head is, where your body is. I got down there and I tested my outlets. I actually redid the electrical myself when I was remodeling this bedroom. I unplugged a big power strip. We got a little spike there. Sometimes you get, maybe like, random little spikes, but that doesn't mean that it's, that it has to hold on that. And then I had like power. I had this little inverter down here for powering my LED strips, my night lights, or I should say nightstand lights connected. I unplugged the power strip and I try not to use the power strip. Some of them are very low EMF. Some of them are a little bit higher. Okay, now we're going to show you something that might be a little concerning to you, and they were product reviews, but I have smart lights in my ceiling and I really like them. They're smart lights, but unfortunately, yes, you are correct. They are putting off RF. So let me come down here where like my head level would be, right about here. This is actually a little bit higher than my head level. And we're in the safe zone, definitely in the safe zone. And I'm going to leave this up to you if you want to replace them or not. But again, we have to be 0.200 or under. Now let's see if we can get this on camera. Now look what happens when I raise it up and I'm like a foot underneath the light, 0.8. That is definitely not good levels. 0.7, 0.700, getting up a little bit closer, 1.7. Sorry for the glare, 1.3 as we're like 6 inches away from the lights. So again, coming down here, if you were like 6'4", something like that. Yeah, that's the safe zone. Let me get right underneath it. Yeah, but I'll leave that up to you. Obviously, the further you are away, I'm only 5'8", 5'9", but the closer you do get to those lights, that's putting off a lot of RF because they are smart lights. So I will be replacing those with standard pot lights that are the same, that are not Wi-Fi enabled. Just for my peace of mind, just knowing that, again, about 6 to 8 inches away, we're at 1.5, 1.6. That is very high levels of RF when the safe zone, again, is 0.200 or under. And then you turn them off, and then obviously they're not protruding anything. So now we're 0.009, 0.016. So completely no RF when they are off, and completely safe standard mag at 0.1 and 0.10 0.2, 0.1 and under. When they are on, it is still 0.1, 0.0, 0.1, 0.0. So it's the RF of the Wi-Fi chip board in there. Now, could I possibly like disable the Wi-Fi chip? Yeah, but these lights go off of an app, and it's not end all because they were a review product for this channel. Now that I'm more educated with RF and EMF, I'm gonna switch those out. All right, here's my red light device, and I was using this for about the last year or so, not every day, but I was putting this too close to my skin, so I will show you this. So right now with it off, we are at 0.0. Let's see here. Again, sometimes it does flash a little bit. Okay, so now let's go ahead and turn it on. We're gonna put it on to exactly what I typically put it on, which is red light and infrared, NIR. And let's go ahead and show you this here without getting the camera all wacky dacky. So now we're at 13.14, and we're about 1.5 inches, 2 inches away from it. So that again is dangerous levels. That needs to be 2.0 or under. And that again, we are on standard mag right there, and we're holding at 10. So you just bring it back a little bit, and then there are your safe levels right there. So you need to do your red light therapy with this particular one. This is a Bensberg, I believe you pronounce it. And you need to stay a good 10 inches away or so. Again, with red light therapy, some of these devices you need to be as close as possible. But let's see here, right there. Actually, we're about 6 inches, no, maybe 7 inches from it. And that is safe level. But I was literally putting it right on my skin, and that's cranking out. Oh goodness, look at how high that is right now. 48, 49, 50. Yeah, that's not good. So again, as you bring it back, look at right there, 4.0, and then your safe level right here at about 7 inches or so. So pull yourself back. You can still do your red light therapy, but pull yourself back to the safe zone. And again, I'll leave it up to you. I might do a little bit more research, but I just don't like how heavy those smart lights are when the lights are on. I don't know if the research shows, like, does it dissipate after a foot, or does it are the particles in the air? I'm not really sure, but I mean, those are your bedroom lights. People use their bedroom lights for hours, so do be careful of that. Okay, so that was a little surprising. That was something that I switched immediately having this device. And if you are wondering, it does put off RF as well. And you need to get, let me see here, for RF, right about there is the safe level for RF. So that's going to be about 8 inches or so from. So with RF and EMF, you need to back that up a little bit. So let's get closer here with RF. We're on the RF, and very, very bad levels right there. 2.0. Yeah, that's not good at all. Backing it up, and there's your safe zone right there under 0.200, as we are about, again, 8 inches away or so. So just to be safe, you might want to get into the 10-inch zone during your red light therapy. Now, be careful of the air purifiers that do have Wi-Fi, if they're, enabled or whatnot, but let's go ahead and click this over to standard. And my air purifier, this again is a small one, and it's off right now, totally barely anything. I'm on standard mag, 0.1. Watch what happens when I turn it on. The second setting, which I never really had it on, so let's go to the night mode, which was the lowest setting. So right here, look at this. This is absurd. We're literally about 15 inches away, and it's at 60. That's 60. So you literally have to come all the way back about 3 feet, and you're still in the level. Coming back about 4 feet, 4.5 feet, you finally get to the safe zone. So literally, if you have that right next to your head, you're putting off toxic EMF. And my dog sometimes comes to this area of the bed, and the safe zone is literally right about here on the bed. That's pretty far away from that air purifier on the lowest setting. Let's go ahead and crank it up to right there. And we just literally maxed out the meter. 68, 69, 70, 90 as I point it right at it, 98. Getting closer, and we just maxed out the meter right there with this air purifier. So either A, you run that when you're not in the room, or you get rid of it. And I have other ones. Again, these were product reviews for my channel. So I gave this same one to my parents. My mom had it in her room, and she was using it all night as well. And probably I'm going to just get rid of it instead of using toxic EMF in the house. and then turning it off. Again, I got to do a little bit more research on that. Is it okay to have products where you're not like next to them and then you just turn them off? So do keep that in mind. I've already tested all my electrical, again, behind the headboard. I unplugged power strips that I'm not using. All right, here's another product I use all night long. Let me put it on the exact setting that I use it on. This is my humidifier, and this actually ranges very, very good. Now, closer you get to the motor, that's where your levels are gonna be. And let me show you that right now. So I've already tested this over the last 2 weeks. I was going crazy with all my products. So let's go ahead and get in here. So right here is the motor down here, and I'm at 20.721 right there. That is definitely levels where you don't want. So, but this one really, as you start backing it up, 7 inches, you're in the safe zone right there. So what I might do with this one, this is about 4 feet from where I sleep. And let me just show you here. So this is where I would sleep. Let me point it right at it. I'm 0.0. Yeah, so there's like nothing. Let me get out of the way here where my head would be. And I'm 0.1, 0.0. So nothing right there. Again, it's not until you get super close to that motor. I'm at 0.2 right here. And then as we get closer, then you jump up to the side right there, which is still higher than you want it to be. That's double what you want it to be. But again, it's the motor in the back that is going to be producing that. That's why that air purifier, the motor is literally right on top. So again, the Costco option, I'll show you at my folks' house in just a second here in the video. That's a lot better of an option. I do have another air purifier right there. That was a product review. It's just holding up my blinds at the moment. So I might test that one. I have some other ones as well that do a better job. But again, I'm running that for 8-9 hours a night. So test all your products and especially test your electrical behind your headboard for that purpose. And I think I mentioned it in the video, but my dad has an old radio alarm clock next to his bed that was like right in the edge of the safe zone, but it put off a lot of EMF or RF, I forget, because of the radio frequency coming into the antenna. Do keep that in mind because old school 1990s, every parent had a radio clock next to their bed, literally right next to them the whole time. Let's go ahead and turn that off. And let me just show you here. If you are curious, and again, it's still on, but watch what happens when the motor turns off. It's kind of winding down right now, and the motor is off, and it immediately goes to 0. So zeroed out. Just out of curiosity, I have not checked this. These are Edison bulbs, but this is a product with a fan on it. So obviously a fan will put off a little bit, but the fan's not on right now. And I'm getting 0.1, 0.0. Awesome. Good to know that one. Okay, so coming over here to my circuit breaker right here. Now the metal enclosure does keep a lot in there, which is really good. So let me show you this. Let me go ahead and close it. And let me go ahead and get in here. So I'm 1.7, 1.6. I'm on weighted standard mag. And so I'm trying to point it right at it to get the shot. 1.8. Let's go up. 1.2. Totally safe right there. Now let's go ahead and open it up. And let's get on in here. And now we're at 2.32. So that's higher than what you want it to be. We're still in the 2s, 3s, 4s. See, you don't want 4s. Definitely don't want 4s. And 3, 3, 4, 3, 2. Right up against it. 6s, 7s. Closer we get. A couple inches, 10s. See, we don't want that at all. So let's go ahead and close that. That metal enclosure box definitely helps. Let's get nice and close here. And let's see if we can replicate anything. See, we're in the 2s, 3s. But we're like right up against the metal door. 2s. Let's see, was the highest right about there. Good to know. Sweet. That metal enclosure cover plate definitely traps a lot in, which is great. Okay, let's go talk about the mesh system because that, my friends, oh goodness, those are not good. But before we do that, let's show you the laptop. Okay, we're going to be testing standard mag right now. We're going to be testing RF in just a second where your keys are. Now, I've seen other videos where people are like, definitely don't use a laptop plugged in, especially on your lap. Always have it on a desk. And okay, we just got a 3 right there. That's the highest point right about here in the keyboard area. That might be where the battery is connected, maybe the fan motor underneath there. But let me see, let me point it this direction here. Again, the Wi-Fi is not on the computer if you are wondering. Pretty much safe levels all throughout except for right there. I think that's where the fan is. That's why you don't want it sitting on your lap. I used to edit videos with this literally in my lap, and I am no longer doing that. Now let's turn on the Wi-Fi. All right, Wi-Fi is on. And then we're going to test it without Wi-Fi. So 400, yeah, 1.7. Goodness gracious. Yeah, 2.2. Definitely don't want that. 1.2, it definitely depends on if you have tabs open, refreshing, maybe YouTube videos playing, but right around your keyboard area, I'm getting big hits of RF 500. Yeah, you definitely don't want those 1.7s or 2.0s. So right now, seems to be okay except for that. And then pulling back, way in the safe zone, back here where the trackpad is. So definitely don't have this in your lap, and the power plug is not plugged in right now if you are wondering. Let's go ahead and turn off the Wi-Fi now and see what happens without the Wi-Fi and nothing. So you might think it's a little over the top, but every night before I go to bed, after I'm done with my work, I turn off the Wi-Fi on every device except for my cell phone, and I leave them in the kitchen. I don't have any devices. Cell phone is definitely not in my bedroom. And now with the Wi-Fi off on my computer, I have no RF coming off this computer. Now let's turn the power on, plug it in, I should say, and see what happens. All right, we already saw it without the power plug plugged in. And let's get right here by the trackpad and let's go ahead and take a look. That's safe levels. Again, the power, it's charging the battery right now. There's the power plug plugged in. Now let's get where your fingers would be, and we immediately jump to 4s. Let's see, we have a 5, 7, 8 right there, 9, 10, 5, 7, 11, 20, 18, 22, 32. As you can see, going over the keyboard where your fingers would be. Look at that. Look at that surge as the power plug is charging. Never use your laptop with the power plug plugged in. What I've been doing is I've been charging it when I'm not around, using it. And then if I do need to charge it, I take a breather, I work out while it's charging, stretch, whatever I need to do, but I never use the laptop anymore with the power plug plugged in. And definitely, regardless, don't put this on your lap. Put this up on a office, desk, stand-up desk, etc. You don't want the bottom of that, especially you males, females, doesn't matter, that RF and EMF going into your lap. And unfortunately, I have a few more smart lights up here, so I will be getting rid of those. Now, something that was very nice is obviously the motor's in the back, but anywhere where I go in my refrigerator, which I would stand, is in the safe zone, which is really good. Even with the freezer, this is a new refrigerator in the last 2 years or so. I tested my parents' refrigerator. This is a Whirlpool. My parents have a, is it Maytag? No, it's one of those fancy dancy brands. I can't think of it right now, but obviously the motor's in the back. Forgive my dirty laundry room at the moment. I'm in a full remodel, but if you stand right in front of the washing machine or dryer when it's on, yes, it's putting out over the limit. Limits obviously don't stand right in front of your washer and dryer, so I tested those. Wireless charging coils, you do get some bounces. Do be careful with those. As I'm pointing it right at it, yeah, actually it's very, very little, and then you back it up like 4 inches and you're good. But typically when I'm not using it, I do like to get rid of that. And then an air iodizer, that barely put out anything, 0.1, which was nice to see that. But it has blue light in there, so I put it in this room instead. I checked all my electrical. I was very happy about that. No bad EMF coming out of those. All right, we're going to switch over cameras, different phones, I should say, because I want to show you the testing of my cell phone. So let's go ahead and see. We have Wi-Fi on my cell phone. I'm a couple inches away from it, and Wi-Fi is the best. Now, when you hit the Wi-Fi antenna, maybe it does jump. So never have this in your front pocket. I don't have my phone in my pocket anymore. If I do, see, look at that. We are jumping around there a little bit. If I do, it's only in my back pocket, but when I go in the store, I put it in the shopping cart. I never have my phone in my front pocket anymore. So as you can see here, just with Wi-Fi on, we do get plenty of over spikes, and that again is mag. Goodness gracious, what was that? That was like some sort of 60-something jump. I think that was just maybe interference. So again, that was on standard mag. Now let's switch it over to RF and let's go ahead and check it out. Safe, looking good. Safe, let's point it right at it. And again, Wi-Fi, looking good. So EMF, we're getting big jumps, but RF is looking good with just Wi-Fi. Of course, I'm not streaming anything. Tabs are open, but it's probably not refreshing in the background. So that is good there. All right, I do want to show you this. So now we are streaming. We're streaming one of my videos from my other channel, so we don't get any copyrights. So with RF on and my video playing, which I'm receiving a signal, still totally safe zone for Wi-Fi. So if you can, always have your phone on Wi-Fi, not cellular data. We're looking good there. Okay, now let's take it off Wi-Fi, see what happens. So now I'm on 5G, and let's see what happens. Look at that. Look at that, goodness gracious. Look at that. Look at how the zones just flew up with cellular data. Look at that, 2.2, and the video is not even playing. Let's go ahead and play the video. And so now it's playing, I just have the sound off. Look at that, I just maxed it out. Look at that, 17. I just got a spike of 17 point something or other. Goodness gracious. So folks, and then it kind of goes down sometimes, which is kind of interesting. There's 3.0, 3.3, 2.5. Goodness. So what does that mean? That means try your best to use your phone only when Wi-Fi, especially if you're holding this thing up to your face. This thing's in your pocket. Obviously a video is playing right now, but how many of us, we literally hold our phones in our hands like this, you know, and we just watch it all day. And you're just seeing these huge spikes of RF on 5G cellular data. Right there, boom, safe, 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 and then big, huge spike, 3.2. Gnarly. So again, whenever you can, get on Wi-Fi and use your phone the least possible amount of time with 5G, 4G, whatever that might be for your cell phones. And then obviously never have your cell phone next to your nightstand. All right, next product I want to show you is I'm watching my own video, so we're not going to get any copyright strikes. This is on my other channel, Bensberg Films, but I want to show you my Sonos system. And so let's go ahead and begin here. So we're going to go ahead and test it, both Samsung Frame TV, and I'm right up against it, 0.2, 0.3, 1.0, 0.8, and testing the right side, 0.3. So for EMF, Samsung Frame TV does a great job. Sonos Arc soundbar, we're getting some jumps right here to 1, that's the safe zone. Getting closer, 5, 4, right where the speaker is. Backing it up, totally safe zone, about 10 inches away or so, and looking good there. So that is with the EMF. The Sonos sub hits very, very high. Goodness gracious. So, all right, we're coming back down 20. I mean, we're right up against it. 8, 11, 6, 5, 9, 11, 6, 9. And that's because the bass, we bring it back. 35, goodness gracious. We bring it back, and then there is the safe zone right there. About a foot and 4 inches or so right there from the sub. Definitely don't have the sub right next to where you sit, etc. Typically that's all like under your entertainment center area, etc. This power strip actually did pretty good. Hopefully we don't get any interference. Actually, no, that power strip is very heavy, as you can see at 10, because I got a lot of plugs in there. And also actually this is where the Samsung Frame, all the brains is. This is where all the HDMI ports are. And that's actually putting off 5, 3, 6, 12, 23, 44, 62. Goodness gracious. So right where the power is plugged into my Samsung Frame TV, it is putting off big levels. No, that was 20. So right where the power plug plugs in right here. Maxes it out right there. So definitely put that. What I would actually do is eventually, this is going to be the entertainment center right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in the entertainment center. And then I'm actually going to probably cover that with some sort of like metal entraption cage, because that is pretty high. That's like, definitely worse than a laptop right there as well. So your Xboxes, put that all out of the way. And then typically what I do is after the night is over, you could have a kill switch. Just pull your plug so that the power is not on all day, all night. I don't watch too much TV, but when I do, it's so easy just to plug it back in, turn everything on, unplug it, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, going over here to a ERA 300 speaker, and this again is the EMF. You're getting pretty high right up against the speaker, and then safe level right about there, which is about 8 inches, 7 inches or so ballpark, somewhere right there. Coming around to the back, let's see if we get a high spike on the magnet. Yes, we do. We're 6.5. You guys get the idea. That again is EMF. So obviously in the future, I'm not going to have this right up against where someone would sit. And coming over here to RF for the ERA 300 speakers, danger zone right there at 0.400, but not bad. 300, but then you pull it back because again, these are going off of Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth, and the safe zone is right about there. So actually a little bit further than that because I'm still getting 200s. Right about there, so which is about 14 inches would be the safe zone for the ERA 300 speakers. RF on the Sonos subwoofer Gen 3. RF is pretty good, especially on the front. We're totally safe zone except for that right there. And we're 200s, and now we are safe zone at under 200 right there, about a foot away from the sub or not. Let's see what happens when I put it up against my Amazon Fire TV stick. Yeah, we got 500s. Almost 600, 700, 600, and then we back it up. There's 100, 300, 500 on the Samsung Frame TV, and then the arc, you need to be about almost a foot away, 10 inches or so on the ARC Gen 3. So just give you a heads up on your Sonos system and your power inputs for your Samsung Frame TV, etc. Alrighty, I want to show you a smart plug. It's not on right now, so let's go ahead and test it. Totally safe zone, obviously, because there's nothing, in. Actually, that might be, are we on RF? Yeah, we're on RF. We are getting some spikes for some oddball reason, and then turning it on. And now, look at that. We're getting big spikes, goodness gracious. So might want to get rid of your smart plugs, especially if you're getting gnarly spikes like that. Let's go ahead and pull back. Okay, totally in the safe zone, about 5 inches, 6 inches, getting close. And we have that big spike. Maybe it was trying to connect, but that 300 right there. And so actually it's, it's safe, but if it's not in use, I wouldn't have it on all the time. Just out of curiosity, let's see if we're getting any interference. I've taken it out. Nope. So we're good there. Let's test one more here with it off, but I'm still getting, yeah, it's like still, wow. Yeah, I'm getting rid of that one for sure. It's still sending off big RF, even with it not on. Now let's go ahead and turn it on. That controls my lamp. And yeah, obviously it would still have RF coming out of it because it's ready to be triggered just like your smart lights. They have the Wi-Fi chip in them. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Yeah, wow. Okay, we definitely, yeah. And I literally sit right there, right behind it. So smart plugs, let me go ahead and turn it off, because they're Wi-Fi enabled, meaning that they can send a signal anytime they want. So they're like ready to go, ready not to go, because they're not turned off like my bedroom lights. My bedroom lights, when I turn off that switch, it kills everything in the system. So even I can't turn them on with my smart device. This I can because there's no kill switch. It's plugged in, ready to listen, ready to turn on at any moment. That's why we're getting that 500 spike. Yeah, I definitely don't like that. So that is going to be removed, and I'm not going to be lazy, and if I want to plug in my lamp, I plug it in. Simple as that. Okay, welcome to the unremodeled portion of the house. So, well, still unremodeled portion, but like really unremodeled portion. So forgive me. I have more smart lights in. I'm going to get rid of that. I've already tested those, same as the bedroom. But let's go over a couple other items that might entice you. Obviously, I don't have a microwave anymore. I use an air fryer. Air fryer still puts off EMF, so do be careful with that. But let me show you the safe levels with it. So I unplug it. Let me just turn it on here, typically how I do it in the morning for my breakfast, and let's go ahead and turn it on. So with it on, switching over to standard mag, and let's go ahead and get you straight at it. See, I'm like a good 2 feet plus away, and we're at 11. That is no good until you get right about here, which that's a good 4 feet away or so from the air fryer. And so you want to like clear about 4 feet on every level, because as we get closer, look at that. So you don't want to be cooking next to the stove here in front of it with the air fryer on. So what I do is if I cook my eggs, I'm way over here in the safe zone, kind of off to the edge instead of standing right in front of my oven while I'm air frying my fruit in the morning. But then let me show you this. Look at that, maxing it out. Not maxing it out, but I mean, that's like the air purifier though. Isn't that crazy? You literally, if you have that air purifier, that same one in your room running 8-9 hours a night while you sleep, it's like having an air fryer right next to your bed. Look at that, 78, 80, 85, 88, 90. 90, and then you come back again about 4 feet away into the safe zone right there. So do be careful of your air fryers. Give them the space they need, and all the EMF leaves once that motor winds down, cuts off, then you are good to go. Okay, so I don't have anything to blend right now, but my Vitamix, oh goodness gracious, that maxes it out like a good distance away because of the power of the Vitamix. So if you are going to be using your Vitamix, which I do, I definitely use my Vitamix, you want to go ahead and set the smoothie and then walk away, come back and turn it off. You do not want to stand in front of the Vitamixes, and my heart goes out to the people working at Starbucks blending these mocha frappuccinos all day long with those heavy motors, those commercial motors, putting off a lot of EMF. I have not tested my heaters. It's summertime now, but potentially your space heaters, those could be bad as well because how powerful the motors are. Now, regarding your mesh system, there's my mesh system. There's my Echo Dot 5 right there. Let me go ahead and show you. Mag is good, but when we turn it to RF, let me just put it on the table right here. Look at that. Look at that 2.5 as we're pretty far away from the device. We're like 6 feet away from that mesh system, which is the white one right here in the windowsill. So look at that. Look at that. And then we back it up. So let me go ahead and hold it right here, point it at it, and see still 1.1 as we're pretty far away. Now let me get about 10 feet away or so and see you go to your safe levels. Actually, not quite yet. You got to back it up even more to your safe levels. Now we're about, we're probably 10 feet away or so from the mesh unit itself for safe levels. I used to sit here for hours editing videos with my space heater, my computer, and the mesh system right over here, and that is dangerous levels, so do be careful. So what you want to do in that case, move this to a different room, which I did, and I did that in my gym as well, in my shop. I just moved it far on the other side of the shop, and I moved the one in my living room to my spare bedroom, which I really never use. It's a tool storage room for the remodel, and now I don't have any dangerous in my areas where I spend most of my time. I am in here, but it is for cooking, and I'm totally in the safe levels back here. And I've been using my laptop for work, not really sitting behind my temporary office desk. But I will show you a hack at the folks' house here in just a second, where we put a popcorn tin over their router, and it did an absolute wonderful job lowering those levels. Okay, coming in here to the cold plunge room, I have a pump, and the pump is actually pretty beefy. And this pump was putting off dangerous EMF. Let's just show you real quick. As we can see there, maxing it out as we get about 5 inches from it, pulling back, still not safe levels, still, and the pump is actually, it's not like working like it's a loud pump, but you don't want that running. We're in the safe level that far back from the motor. Let's try the chiller. Yeah, the chiller, you definitely don't want to be right next to the chiller, but we're in the safe zone right about there. So what I've been doing is I've been not in here during while the pump is going, and then I turn off the pump while I'm in the cold plunge, and then turn the pump back on to cycle the water, but I don't have the pump on 24 hours a day. Also check your power strips. I have since turned this one off. Let's see here. Maybe because I'm not using something or other, but oh yeah, because I don't think I think it's on. Maybe I had something plugged in here, which is not plugged in here anymore, but I thought this power strip was putting off a lot of EMF. Maybe I unplugged my computer from it, but check your power strips. And if you don't need to use them, plug your plugs into the walls. And if you are wondering, like an IKEA lamp is actually really good. Right up against the bulb is 0.4, 0.5. Totally safe. There's actually 2. Okay. As we get a little bit higher, okay, here we go. Yeah, actually, my bad on that one. You don't want that right next to your head. That's putting off 11, 12, 9, 10, right up where all the electrics go into where the bulb screws in. So do be careful of that right there. So watch your nightstand, your lamps especially, just measure it where the bulb goes into, not just right here. This is actually kind of interesting. This is my fountain, and yes, it does have a pump in there, but actually it's definitely higher than I anticipated it to be. You know, over here, we're totally in the safe level. I never sit in this chair, but yeah, that chair would be in a level where you don't want it, 7 right there. Pointing it down a little bit, 8. So that's good to know. That was kind of random. I just tested that, but you know, again, about 4 feet away or so, you're totally fine. I do run that all day, but again, I'm not out here, and it's not crazy high, but it's definitely not something you'd want to like sit here for 8 hours a day. Let's go at right where your kind of your body would be. 2.7, that's not bad at all, but getting close, yeah, you're looking pretty high on that one as you're pointing it towards that motor, maxing it out right about there. Yeah, so very interesting. Okay, once again, this is where I have my breakfast, my morning devotions out here at the front table. Transformer was right there. Again, was a little concerned about that, but let me just put it on the table here, kind of facing that direction. And we are on weighted mag, and there's absolutely no issues with that. And I've also tested it with RF, looking at it for quite a while. And even if that is a smart meter, which I'm pretty sure it is, it wasn't putting off anything. And this is exactly where I sit for at least, oh goodness, including editing videos. I'm here out here sometimes 4 hours a day at this table underneath my umbrella. So I wanted to make sure, obviously, that that wasn't putting it off to my bedroom, because my bedroom window is literally right there, as well as where I sit. And again, now we are on RF and looking good there. Again, I've tested this. There was no jumps. Beautiful. I have a few more things to show you, so stay with me. Let's go ahead and get a little closer and see what we can see here as we walk closer to it. Now, asking AI, they said to stay about 20 feet from it or so. And so this one actually encloses it pretty good. So obviously you don't want to like stand right underneath it. And okay, we're coming up to it. Let me see if I can get this on camera. Kind of hard to show you the screen because I do have to point at it. But even this, like I'm right underneath it, about 10 feet up, maybe 12, maybe 11 feet up, 0.2. So it's still the safe zone. We're on weighted mag, and that's way underneath the limit, because remember, it's 5.0 or under for weighted mag. Pointing it right at it. Again, sorry. Try to get the shot there. 0.2, let me walk all the way around it. 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, all the way around the back of it. So definitely test a property, especially if it's under those crazy big lines. But transformer is looking good at 0.4 weighted mag. I like what I'm seeing. Let's click it over to standard mag, just out of curiosity. And I've already done this already, but 0.2, nothing to have issues with. 0.2, 0.3, 0.3, 0.5, around the back of 0.6. So, I mean, we're right underneath it and good there. Now, obviously, I don't want like my, numbers showing up on the internet. So let me go ahead and just point it at it this way, because I think there's serial numbers, stuff like that. And I'll try to get a testing of this to see if anything happens over the course of a minute, because again, it does put out, it's about every 60 seconds or so, it puts out a big RF spike, but I'm getting 0.009 out of my meter, which is really good, because some people, they get like even up close to it, even without it sending the signal. So like the biggest jump has been 0.015, which is really good. And I'm about, I'd say I'm about a foot away from it, maybe 11 inches or so. 0.9, we should be coming up on about a minute or so. Still haven't had any jumps. And up in the top corner, it actually has a peak of like how it like peaked. So it peaked at 0.036 with the battery indicator at the top of it. I think I forgot to mention that. And the battery, I mean, I've tested this thing. I have a lot over the last 2 weeks, full battery still. And I don't have the sound on, if you are wondering. You have the option of doing that. I think it beeps on you. So yeah, we're well over a minute. This thing hasn't put off a signal at all. Okay, 0.19. Maybe this one doesn't do it every minute or so, but anyway, that's pretty safe in my opinion. And if you are wondering, standard mag, we're looking at 0.7, 0.8. Let's just click it over to standard electricity, and that is 164 VM. Right there. Coming down here to standard mag is 0.6, 0.5, 0.6, 0.5. As I get a little closer, there's 2.0, but that's like almost, that's 6 inches from it. And then right up against it is only 7.2, 6.5, and that is standard mag. There's your safe level right there from your smart meter. But I stood there for 2.5 minutes, didn't put off one high spike, so I think it's a smart meter. Okay, coming over here to this transformer box, old school thing. Safe zone is right about there, about 10 inches or so. This little itty bitty guy, safe zone right there, about 6 inches. And let's test out this old school one right there. It's rusted, and you're looking at safe zone right about there at 1 inch or so. Good to know. All right, the shop actually has a different transformer and pole. I'm on 2 separate accounts, and again, putting off beautiful levels, 1.2. Let's see, was the other one under 2? But again, this is weighted. This is weighted mag, and 5.0 is the safe zone or under. So right underneath it, which I never stand, it's 1.4 right there. 0.9 is I kind of lift it up a little bit. And then this other smart one is, again, this is weighted mag now, 4.2. Standard mag is 1.6. And then I've already tested this as well with RF. You're looking at 0.075. And so again, super low, maybe a little, no, that's the same. Okay. There's your big spike right there, but still that's not bad at all. At 0.4, 0.400, 0.300, 0.200, and then it's done. So this one seems like it put off a signal, but it was very low. I mean, double the safe zone, but I mean, I'm right up against it. I'm never standing here. So just keep that in mind. So maybe everything goes off of this one. They're both connected. I have no idea, but good to know that both transformers and smart meters are safe. Alrighty, so let me show you this. So I had my other mesh system. I literally was working out here 4 or 5 days a week for 1 hour, sometimes plus, sometimes a little under. And I had my mesh system up against the window right there, bathing in dangerous RF every single gym session. I have since moved it all the way over. This is a big shop. Sorry. This is all my stuff that I'm holding here for my remodel. Now I've put it way over there in the corner, and there's no RF EMF coming from that. It's way over in the corner. I can still listen to a podcast. I just put my phone over here, speaker, whatever you want to do. But again, just small little changes like this, understanding dangerous areas, dangerous EMF, dangerous RF, and switching it to different locations, rooms. You don't want your router mesh system in your office, in your bedroom, etc. So let's go ahead and show you standard mag now with old school fluorescent lights. And I've already tested this, but it's like 0.2. I've walked around my shop, 0.2, 0.3. We're on standard mag. Way underneath it, these are high roofs as well. So 0.2, 0.1. No issue there. And I do have a very large transformer box for the shop. And as we get right up against it right here, we're at 4.3, 4.2, 3, 2, safe zone at about 10 inches, 1 foot or so from this huge box right here. So do keep that in mind as well. But so good to know. Literally, my folks, we've transformed their area. Let's go ahead and go over there now, show you their house, what we've done over there. Stay with me. I know this video is long, but this is going to give you a lot of informed decisions. Making these decisions so that places you sleep, places you work, places you work out, places where you are the most, you want it safe. Alrighty, here is an excellent example about how a little small metal tin or metal trash can will work for lowering the RF from your Wi-Fi router. So there's actually a mesh system on the other side of that. And this is my parents' Wi-Fi router. And they spend a lot of time in this particular room here. So let me show you what this is doing. And right now it's 0.9, 0.7, 0.6, 0.8, 0.5, 0.4. So it kind of goes up and down a little bit. Right here, 1.5. See, it kind of put off a really high signal. And I am pretty far away from it. I'd say about maybe 8 feet or so, 7 feet ballpark, something like that. So sometimes it goes off of, like that's a okay level, 0.200. But then it jumps up to 6s, 3s, 5s, 2.2. So that right there is definitely an unhealthy level. Must just give off a big, signal every once in a while, something like that. Anyway, so as we're looking at that, and I am on the RF portion right here. So let's see what happens when we get even closer to it. And it will kind of jump around a little bit as well. So we're decently close, 1.3, 3.1, definitely don't like that. 1.1, 0.90, 1.0. So even with it bouncing around like that, super unsafe levels for sitting here or here. But let me show you what happens when we put the it's not a trash can, it's actually an old popcorn tin my mom had out in her garage. So we're going to cover the complete router and Wi-Fi mesh little puck, I'm just going to call it, which is over here. And so we put it right over here, and I actually am going to put that on the floor as well, just to even push it a little bit more away from the futon couch area. So let me go ahead and show you what happens when we put the tin on top and put it on the floor. Okay, now we are on the far side of the futon, and let me show you this. Okay, that was just like a slight jump up right there. Look at that, 0.044 on this side right here, 0.044, and then it jumps to 0.200, which is still a safe level. And then let's move to position. So that's where it was right there, but now it's on the floor with the tin on top. Now we're going to move, again, we're still on RF. We're going to move closer to it. Look at that, 0.043. Look at the signals compared to what it was just a second ago. So if you can't move it, like my parents can't move it, like the high-speed internet is literally coming in that wall. So you put a tin over it, look at that. Look at how low that goes. So if you're sitting right here in this seat, look at that. Look at that, goodness gracious. Okay, coming over here, then it goes up slightly because obviously like we're right, it's literally right underneath that tin. So here's the tin right here. And yeah, when you're this close, there's still some levels right here. Of course, because it's, jumping up there. But let me back up again a little bit. Let me catch this on camera. So even this far away right here. So it's still jumped up for some reason there. Let's come back over here. Maybe it's reflecting off of, see, like right here is beautiful. And as long as you're not like within kind of like that close couple foot vicinity, it goes down absolutely dramatically. So let me go over here. Now I'm at the distance where my dad sits at his office desk. Beautiful levels right there. Let me go kind of where his body would be. Very little jump there every once in a while, but look at how low that is compared to where it was. I was hitting those crazy numbers like way back here. Like that's pretty gnarly right there. So anyway, if you can't move your Wi-Fi system, definitely put a metal tin around your Wi-Fi. And also this is in my parents' office. So this was trying to connect to a network after I replugged it back in. And as it was trying to send that signal for connecting, it put off, I'm talking gnarly, like 4 to 15 with the RF. So as in like 15 is in like 4 to 15 is 15 and then 0.0. Now with it connected to the internet, it's putting off safe levels this close, which is really nice. You might want to monitor yours to see if you're going to get those jumps. And if you are going to get those jumps, like see this, I think it's trying to display stuff. So that's a feature that you can disable in your settings where it tries to sell you things on here, right? So I'm going to cover up the network name, but as you can see, Bluetooth is off, by the way, if you were wondering. Yeah, so all these settings right here, turn off music, turn off sports, turn off anything that's going to be sending signals randomly like that. You can keep maybe your notifications on if there's like a weather storm or something like that, but like popular recipes, all this stuff, go ahead and toggle all that off shop. Yeah, see, this is all sending signals to your device, which is cranking out that little high spread. It's almost like a smart meter. So be careful of that. We're going to go ahead and scroll up here. Weather alerts, weather forecast. You know what? We don't need that. My folks can just ask her if it's going to rain. Deliveries, that doesn't happen that often. Enabled skills, we'll go ahead and tap that off as well. And rotate continuously. Yeah, because that's just rotation. So let's go ahead and check it out now. The only thing it is, when it's jumping, it's still in a safe level under 0.200. There's your jump again at 100, but a lot better than what it was with some of those notifications. Because again, what's happening is your Amazon device is sucking in that knowledge and putting it up on the screen. So you'll have a little bit of that jump there. So far, we're looking good. Okay, it just flashed delivery today. Let's see if anything happens. No. And we're right next to it as well, but still, we're looking good. Let's switch over to standard mag, and we're putting off a beautiful level there. Pretty much nothing about 6 inches from it. That's good to know. So definitely anything that's pulling in a Wi-Fi signal constantly, you might want to mess around with your notifications, especially your cell phone, your Amazon devices, etc. I do want to show you one other thing because I actually have 2 air purifiers, gave one to my folks, and that one I'm going to show you at my house, which puts off some unhealthy levels if you're pretty close to it. But this one was purchased at Costco, and I'll try to link this in the description box below as well. But you can pick this up at Costco, and this one is Winix with plasma wave, and it actually has a really good level to it. The only time it goes up just a little bit is if you go right above the motor, then it goes to like 3, 3.1, 3.2, but that is absolutely fantastic. See, I'm literally a foot, here, let's point it right at it. I'm like 1.5 feet, 2 feet away from it, and absolutely fantastic. That puts off very, very small amount. Do be careful with the brands you do choose. Alrighty, one more thing. If you are curious, if you do have a Starlink now, I do have my mesh system in here. I do have a smart plug. I have the power adapter. And so that's the Starlink power adapter right there. And that's putting off not bad at all. As you get closer to it, there is 3.6. And coming over here to the router is putting off 8, 10, 12, 9, 8, 7, 9, 9, 8 right there for the router Starlink. And then my mesh system putting off 14, 9. This is by TP Deco. This is a beefy one, 12, 12, 12, putting right in front of the router, 23, 21, 22, 23, 21, 22. So as you can see, you don't want this in your office or where you have it all the time. All right, RF is actually very, very high because, yeah, we're literally maxed out. Yeah, we've literally maxed out the meter. There's 17. Now I do have it. Okay, we just maxed it out. There's so many devices in here putting off RF. That's why you do not want this. 19. Yeah, so eventually, this is outside because I do live in the country. This is the old chicken coop. If I had chickens, I would not have the Starlink this close to the chicken coop, just to be honest with you, because I am now literally 3 feet away from these devices, and I'm putting off, 0.4, 0.9, 1.7, super dangerous levels. But again, there's Starlink router, mesh system, smart plug. There's just too much going on in here for RF. So that's why I'm super glad it's outside. I'm never over here, and I don't want that in the house. Okay, coming over here to the Starlink panel, RF is 1.0, 0.900, 1.0, 0.800, 0.500, 1.0, so 1.6, yeah, putting off super dangerous levels, 1.9. That's why you want this mounted on your roof, not in an office. There's 0.200, so this side is a lot better. That's actually safe level over here on this side. So maybe all the chip and everything, there's 300. So it looks like the chip, there's 400, 200, 0.200. Looks like the dangerous levels are kind of right through here, top left at 2.2. Yeah, that's really dangerous levels. And then going over to mag, standard mag, there's your 3 point something, 2.3, it needs to be 2.0 or under, 3, 5, 6, 12, 11, 14, 9. So wherever this is right here, top left, is going to be the most dangerous zone. There's 22, 23, 27, 36, 32, actually all the top area. Bottom is 8, 9, 7, 4, 6, 13, 29, 18. So a lot of EMF as well as RF coming out of your Starlink as well. Not to mention, goodness gracious. Yeah, I would not want my chickens being that close. Just out of curiosity, let's test it a little bit further away, but still, the chickens are right behind this wall. Yeah, and what you could probably do is maybe just put again, the popcorn tin over it. Let's get back here. So for mag, yeah, really good. Nothing for mag going that direction. So no EMF, but RF, I'm still at 2.3, 2.5, and I'm like pretty good distance away from the 6.3, 4.2. Goodness gracious. Yeah, you definitely don't want to spend a lot of time. Let me get over here. Definitely wouldn't want chickens, and I don't have chickens, if I made that clear. I do not have chickens in here, but I would not want them to be housed just bathing all day long in dirty RF. Look at that. I'm still, goodness gracious, 0.300, 0.200. I'm still not in a safe zone being this far away. I'm pretty far away. Okay, let's see here. Now I'm like maybe 12 feet, from the Starlink dish, maybe 14 feet from the router. And now I've come into a safe zone here. Really safe, 0.056. Wow, good to know. That is putting off a lot of stuff right through there. I don't have any, crops or fruit plants or anything like that. I don't know how that affects food, but I would think if it affects us human beings, it would affect something even smaller like chickens and animals. So do be careful with all that. So again, this device has been so helpful. Here's your display screen. If I didn't show that a little clear, you got your peak up here that holds, see that 3.2, and then it releases, battery indicator, and then your zone right here. So MGs in standard mag, weighted mag, RF, simple dial. This thing has been a game changer. And again, it's just making those small little altering choices for where you put certain devices. I think it's picking up a little bit of my cell phone right now. But again, certain products that did surprise me. Here's your battery. Let's just show you that real quickly here. It does come with the Amazon Basics battery. There is your sound. You push that for sound. You push that for brightness. That is all located behind the battery compartment there. Again, devices that surprise me: smart ceiling lights, air fryer, cold plunge motor, air purifier, the small one, and my red light panel as well. Good to know the safe distances with this meter. I would have no clue. It's done an absolutely fantastic job. Again, top link in the description box below will be this exact same meter by TriField, where you guys can read more about it and pick it up yourself. But just like all my videos, please don't go into debt for anything I do make a video about. But if you do have the cash and it does intrigue you, please go ahead and purchase on away. If you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button on the way out, helps the channel. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, DIY house projects, tech reviews, and more. My name is Chris. Once again, top link in the description box, right? Whoop, let me point right way. In the description box right below the video will be the TriField meter. Pick it up. It's a great device. Be safe. We will see you on the next video. My name is Chris. Take care for now. Bye-bye.